Thanks for coming back. How we doing? Yay! I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. I made fun of, when we do this, the person that keeps talking, right? I'm usually that person. Yes. And I'm not naming names. Like one of these. Thanks for the help. Good effort. All right, so we're here to talk about data and some of the metrics that we collect on our Agile teams. We love data, right? And as you guys know, what's my nickname?
Chris.
It's Chris, that's correct. Math Whisperer.
Did you give yourself that nickname?
No, I didn't. I earned it with my core math skills. So we're going to test your math skills today. We're going to talk about predictability. For those of you on Scrum teams, we're measuring. We have this metric called predictability. Even if you're not on a Scrum team, you can probably figure out what predictable means, right? And anybody want to share what that means, whether you're on a Scrum team or not? Anyone?
In a set amount of time, I predict I can roughly get this.
How likely you are to deliver what you said you would deliver?
Close, right? You said differently, but how likely you are to deliver something that you said you would? Simple, right? So that's all predictability is. So how predictable is a team? What does predictability help us with? Helps us forecast where we might end up with work. So that's why that metric is valuable for us, is it helps us forecast where we might end up based on how predictable the team is. So we're going to do a little test and test your math. I said before we weren't going to judge. When I say we, Aaron won't. We're going to test your math. So we're not going to get mixed up or hung up on whether we're doing story points or whatever. We're just calling this simply units of work. Okay, you guys with me? Just how many units of work will we commit to doing? And then how many units we actually do? And then what is our predictability measure? You guys ready? Put your calculators away. I'm hoping this is easy math. But we'll see. So a team commits to doing 50 units of work. So far, so good? Get it? Okay. They deliver 50. Well, I didn't ask you. You overachiever. So everybody in their head, think about what number that is. What percent of predictability are we in this scenario? 100%. Okay. You guys good? That was easy math so far? All right. So the next sprint, the team commits to 50 units of work. Seems logical, right? We committed 50 last time, we did 50. So 50 seems like a logical guess. You guys, would that be fair? Okay. And they deliver 40 this time.
80%.
80%. Okay. Awesome. Easy or hard? Yes, easy math. So the team decides next sprint that they will commit. Why not? We did it the last few times. We missed a little bit of the last one, but I think we can get it. So they committed to 50 points again, or 50 units. Is that logical?
No.
Maybe, right? Some say no, some say yeah, but it seems like a decent start having only done 2 sprints at this point. They deliver 60. Is delivering 60 when they commit to 50 a good thing? Sure. So, what is their percent predictability?
90.
120% something.
Whoa.
You're still, even if you're delivering more than you said you would, you're still unpredictable.
So let me take a pause. So there are certain numbers that I anticipated, there are other numbers I didn't. Numbers like 90, not sure. Numbers like 100, I heard, maybe I heard in this audience, but I heard in this as well. The two numbers that I anticipated getting was 80 or 120. 80. Please state,
So it should be.
it should be 80, I'm sorry.
Poor math. I'm not like you, Chris.
I don't know how to take that, but he's not like me.
Could you define exactly what predictability percent is?
Is what?
What is it? Is it that the percentage of the time that you predicted correctly? Is that what your definition of
It's-
predictability percentage is?
It's, so think of it this way, it's the predictability measure is how much work, or how far off are we from hitting our target? It's another way of saying it. I forget how you said it, Scott, but I predict that you'll deliver on what you predicted. Yeah, the likelihood of what you'll deliver, or, yeah, deliver on what you committed to. So, I would say that the number's 80. Okay? And so let's look at it this way. We need to follow the Olympics. It's fun. Archery. Looks kind of cool, right? Anybody watch the archery? No. It's pretty awesome. And what's that? Some of you are thinking I wish I had a bow and arrow like that. So the way I think of this is, you know, their target is what? The bullseye, right? As a team, our target is to hit what we say we would hit. Not at all are we saying that delivering more than what we, because I certainly don't want to sit on my hands and go, well, you know, we delivered everything we said, and it's just in the last week, just doing nothing because I want to make sure I hit 100%. That's not, for being professional, that's probably not a good approach to take, right? But equating it to archery, if I hit above the bullseye, let's say by 10 degrees, I know I'm going to make an adjustment, right? How far am I going to adjust? Yeah, there's no math involved here, it's just mostly repeating. I'm going to make a 10-degree adjustment in which direction? Down. There are other factors, I get it, right? You're going to challenge me on all the other factors, right?
I have a question.
Okay.
So, once you've completed what you committed to, right, then you're pulling in, so your commitment raises. So now you committed to 60 and delivered 60.
Let's address that in a moment. Let me make a point around the bullseye. So if I hit, so we already asserted that if I hit above the bullseye, I'm going to adjust down 10 degrees. What if I hit 10 degrees below the bullseye? I'm going to adjust up, right? So I'm not 120% or 110% or any, you know, 10% off my target. If I commit to 50, deliver 60, I'm 20% off my target. You guys with me? Okay? Our original commitment was 50 points. And the whole reason we do this exercise is for what? It's to predict, it's to plan, it's to make adjustments, right? We use data. Data should tell us something. And what it tells us how to perhaps adjust one direction or another, okay? So with this data in mind, so, you know, I'm saying it's 80%, 20% off target. It's no different than being 20% underneath what I committed to. And I would agree with Scott that 120% doesn't make sense mathematically. You know, math whisperer, sorry. Now that you're at the planning table, what would you commit to? 55? 50? What's that? 50? I don't know. I mean, it's going to be up to the team. right? You know, I thought about challenging every answer, but I didn't want to.
I think it's good. Well,
So 50's right in the middle of these two. I hit 50 once, I can see where you might go with 50. If you said 40, I would ask, well, you did 60 on this one. You know, what gives there? What was, and so again, asking the questions about, what about this? What about the 40 was different than the 60? What did you do differently? Does that make sense?
Yeah, out.
Yes.
And I would say when you want to have a discussion about the 50-40, did something happen?
Right.
I mean, why, I mean, if you were at 50 and 60, the other two didn't happen, you have a story that blew up on you or whatever, if so, then maybe that's an
Yeah.
outlier.
Or sometimes what you see is the sixties really carry over from the previous one, so maybe you carried those points over and you did reevaluate. So did you really get 60 done, or did you?
Maybe, right? All these
It's in the
things.
conversation.
The point is, you're right, is to have that conversation. This data's telling us something, but it doesn't tell us everything, right? Just like I committed 50, delivered 60, that's a data point that's interesting. So is my predictability measure, that's interesting. The two together tell me something. But it doesn't give me the whole picture. There's a lot of other things that's going on within the system. Processes may be challenging. Maybe somebody threw us a new story or a new thing to work on that distracted us. And that's what contributed to the 40. Or maybe it contributed to the 60. Or I worked, you know, we had some deadline-driven thing, and we got in more than what we said because we wanted to just be done and get. That was a conscious decision by the team. It's not going to happen over and over and over. So lots of factors contribute to these numbers. What's most important is having these conversations about what contributed to this. Maybe it's a brand new team, we got lucky. Maybe something happened here, maybe something happened here, positive and negative, right? So I don't know what the answer is. The team is going to come up with that, but having a conversation around what those data points tell us.
maybe you're not sizing things the same. So maybe in your first sprint, you did something, and in the second sprint, you have the same kind of exercise. So you said, yeah, maybe we pointed it at 10 or units, 10 units last time, but you know, it didn't really take that long. It's really only 8.
And again, hopefully, we're having those discussions about what contributed to this data, right? And the other thing I want to, maybe we'll hit it later, but I'll bring it up now, is if you ask a team to do more, going to the sizing point, let's say these are story points, and I say, hey team, you guys are doing 50, pretty good, but I want to see you at 70. There's probably 99% of the teams that will deliver 70 each and every time,
For that one sprint.
because I'm going to size differently.
That's exactly what I was
Right.
going to say. You're probably going to say,
My sales
that's
team,
really a
my
big
boss
story.
wants me to do 70 points, I'll do 70 points. So just understand, this team has their own metric. 50 doesn't mean 50 for every team, right? So a 70-point team or 70 units is not the same as 70 for another team. Is the point I make. So be careful about comparing teams on their story points or velocity. Yes?
Who's this data for besides the dev team? Who else is looking at it? And those external people that are looking at it, what does it mean to
Well,
them?
product owners look at it, so they
Well,
can try
I
to.
include product owners part of that.
Yeah.
So above that,
When they go out,
I don't know whether.
I don't think stakeholders care about the two left columns. What they care about more is the right column that says, you know, the team's committing to X and they're delivering. Is that percentage? You don't want a team that's always in the 50 percentile. That's their predictability. That means they're probably not delivering what they're saying.
so it's a PO explaining why behind that last column.
should
To be
be.
honest with you, I've never had a stakeholder ask me why we didn't get 40 more things done instead of 30 or vice versa. It's normally,
No, but they should.
I think if you're consistently
If
bad
your
predictability,
stakeholders are watching this, it tells them whether or not they can count on, when you calling it the needed sprint, this is what I'm gonna get.
No,
If you're
I'm not
the-
saying, Cindy, I'm not saying they haven't questioned predictability, I'm saying they never say, well, why are you only getting 30 points down
I
the
agree.
sprint instead of 40?
Right, no, I'm just talking about that last one.
So,
Right.
so Candace, yes, there's some education perhaps that needs to occur here. Our product owner should be helping with our stakeholders and what this data means. And I think in most cases, that's probably being done. And if not, we can improve on that, right? But again, this, more importantly for me, is that the team uses this data to pivot left or right and make decisions. And if I'm, say, you know, a senior executive and I'm looking at this data, I want to see that the team is making some adjustments. It's natural that we're going to miss, right? This is normal. I'm not going to look at a team and go, my God, this is an awful team. What I want to see is that they've made some adaptations to make some improvement. And I do believe inherently that our leadership does look at it in that way. Okay?
That's why we look at the four, when we do our dashboards, there's a thing where it takes the last four, the average of the last four. So if you had an anomaly, you have an anomaly. If you're typically in the 81, and all of a sudden there's a 50 or 60, it's like, as long as that's not the pattern. If you're in the 50s or 60s, then there's a brief, what the question becomes, why are you in the 50s and 60s on predictability? What can we do to help the team be more predictable? And better judge their own capacity.
All right, we're going to move on. We're on slide 1, 17 minutes in. Is that all right?
So what is the right answer to number?
I don't know. It's up to the teams.
No.
Wait, what?
Wait, oh, I'm sorry.
It's
It's 80.
Yeah.
In my opinion, it's 80.
We're not doing any better.
So we need data. We know this. How many of you encountered conversations similar to this, or at least maybe experience it today on their team? Just make up a bunch of data like everyone else does. That's the dangerous part about numbers. We can make them look the way we want them to look. Everyone else does that. All right, so we've heard this before. You can't fix what you can't measure, right? That's why we measure, is to help us fix maybe some problems that we see, right? You also heard this, fear what you don't understand. Kind of go into the 80 versus 120, or even, you know, who's viewing the data, what do they do with this data? So asking questions and understanding what this data tells me, how do I make decisions from this data, is a good thing to do. It's a healthy thing for our teams to do. And I like this one. You're being judged no matter what. Doesn't mean you want to be. For me, when I came across this quote, I was thinking, if I don't like 70% predictability, for example, I have a role to play on my team to help increase my predictability. Right? It's a challenge for my teammates to say, gosh, we are not hitting the mark. Let's do better. What do we need to do better? Make it look the way you want it to look. If you don't like what you see, don't hide it. Address it. You know, like what we talked about with conflict yesterday, right? Don't push it under the rug. It's only going to get worse. If we don't talk about the data and how to make decisions from that data, we don't like what we see, you have a part to play on your team. Improve it. Have a plan to improve that. Good question.
Yeah, and it's somewhat related to what someone over there said earlier about bringing more stuff in. But sometimes you don't bring new stuff in, but requirements change. So 2 days after sprint planning, there's a requirement change. Do you adjust the commitment, or do you?
I can't just sprints are over.
Well, that's extreme. But it's a possible lever, right? If it's that drastic that it just implodes your sprint, yeah, we cancel. But that's an extreme case, right? In your scenario where we had a list of maybe some details on what we needed to do for this particular work unit, and then the requirement changed, I would ask the question as a Scrum Master, how does this impact us? I start asking lots of questions before I make that decision. If it's not a huge impact, or if it is if the team says that this is so big that something else is gonna have to change, then I might move that aside. You know, there's all kinds of things, and we can go through some strategies around that, but there's a bunch of different things that we might do in that scenario. But it's not a one side, you know, if this, then this, necessarily. If our entire goal changed, I would go with what John said. Our goal was this, and now it's
I just
something
mean,
entirely
if
different.
If the requirements say something, you had pointed at a 5, you get some new requirements, and now you're like, well, this is an 8 now. Do you just change your commitment, or do you just change what you deliver?
What do you guys do?
Well, I think the underlying problem is that you probably shouldn't have pulled it in sprints and didn't know the
Right.
requirement first, so there's a growing group. But let's say opposite scenario that somebody comes in and the PO or the stakeholder say this has to get done. What I try and push the teams to do is at that point, it's their decision. They've committed to X in their sprint. They need to work out themselves if they can do that. If not, then hey, said PO or stakeholder, what can I take out? Because I only committed to this, and now I can't reach that commitment. If you want me to do that, sure, we can do it, but we have to take out something else.
I think you have to ask the question, is there still value
Yeah,
in
with us-
delivering the 5 as it is?
With that
Right.
story, we wouldn't change how we pointed it though, because what we pointed is what we are gonna commit to get done in that. We would create another story and pull that in and point that at 3 to that additional requirement. I mean, we wouldn't take anything out,
Yeah,
just
what that-
throw stuff in, but, I mean, we
And what that
would add
does is-
points to that story.
The purpose of that is to maintain that focus on what we committed to originally. This new thing, if it wasn't worth talking about before, it's a late emerging thing, which happens all the time. You know, create a new story, just add that into the next sprint. It's the highest priority if it's necessary. Again, lots of different ways you can handle that, and if you want to talk more, Aaron and I were happy to do that right after we wrap up here before lunch, if you like.
Or open space tomorrow.
Open space
We'll
tomorrow. 'cause this
solicit
is
other groups.
Yeah, this is a common thing, challenge that teams have and face. So metrics are decision enablers. The only metrics, so this is from Eric Reese, lead startup, I referenced him yesterday. The only metrics that entrepreneurs should invest energy in fighting are those that help them make decisions. Now, maybe we change this to scrub teams, maybe we change this to finance team, maybe we change this to whatever. But any metrics that you're collecting that doesn't help us make decisions, then why are we collecting them, right? He goes on, he talks about this. Sometimes we collect it because they might be termed vanity metrics. What's a vanity metric? He says if it's something that makes you feel good, it doesn't give you any clear guidance as to what to do. But can I get an example of a vanity metric? What's that? How many widgets? How about
Page hits.
page hits, right? Awesome, but if I'm on a website, how many page hits? So we collect a count of how many page hits, that's a common one. That's cool, but if I'm selling stuff online and nobody's buying and I've got 8 billion page hits, I've got a neat site that people come to, but nobody's buying something, so it doesn't help me, right? I've got the traffic, which is maybe good, but how do I get people to buy? Because that's ultimately how I make money, right? How about Facebook friends? There's one. I've got like 600 Facebook friends. I probably talked to 5 of them. Any of you guys? Any of you guys my Facebook friends? So I talked to, so I have 6.
Yeah.
I have 0.
I'd question the 600.
So do I. So measure the right stuff. Look for trends. Data is all about, you know, metrics that we collect our teams is all about collecting enough information to see what the trend is, right? Like, for example, if we go back to the predictability measure and we see I'm at 100%, I'm at 50%, I'm at 20%, I'm at 100%, boy, that trend's not good, right? It's not real good because we're bouncing all over the place. There's something going on with that system. You know, maybe the team dynamic's changing all over the place, which could indicate why you're bouncing around. It's not a good thing. but not a very predictive team. So look at the trends. What does it tell you? Because it's normal to hit 100%, and then another sprint hits 70 maybe, and then maybe 80, maybe 90. But if you're bouncing all over the place and there's no trend whatsoever, you've got something else going on that you need to investigate, right? You guys with me? Use the data to help you improve. Again, if it doesn't give you a clear direction as to what to do, why would you select it, right? Part of it's education, right? Understanding what the data tells us. And then Eric Reese's comments around build, measure, learn. Build the thing. Take some measurements, collect some data, collect information. What does that data tell me? What have I learned from this information? And then I pivot or I keep going down that same path, right? Hopefully if you keep going down that same path, it's the data you like. How many of you are on teams that you don't necessarily like the data, but you have maybe change the data, i.e. change behaviors or processes or how you commit to your work, et cetera, et cetera. It's okay, you need to read it. So who's looking at this? So Ken's just asked it straight up. But understanding what we want to measure, that's part of it. What is it going to tell us? Who will consume it? Who's consuming this data and what do they use it for? Does the metric incentive indicate? For being honest, I'd say sometimes yes, sometimes I'm not sure what behavior is incentive, but it doesn't feel right. And remember that one data point doesn't tell you an entire story. For example, if I say a team is 80% predictable, and yet 3 out of 5 sprints they deliver more than they committed to, and that's something that's interesting. Those 2 data points tell me something, and then I start asking questions. Well, what are we doing to get to a more predictable state? I want to see that trend. You with me? And then having the conversations. If I don't like 70% or 80%, and I want to be closer to 100, then having those conversations about how do we do that, right? What gets us to a better state? So Aaron is handing out a word pairing worksheet. You guys remember elementary school? I mean, it was a long time ago for me, where you took the word on the left and you drew the line to the definition of the word on the right. That's what this is. And this is just to prime the pump, if you will, to kind of set the stage for the next section that we'll go into and talk about how do we make decisions around some of the data we show. So take a moment, figure out which definition belongs to which word. Ask your table mates if you're unsure, and then I'll give you the right answers in a moment.
Just say we were doing this as build this V. Well, that's
All right, let's, pretty good spot, or at least pretty close. Let's kind of go through these real quick. Sprint burn down, which one does that go to? E. Shows the remaining effort for the period of time. How about velocity? C. Measure of the amount of work a team can tackle learn in a single sprint. Release burn up. G. This chart tracks the progress towards project completion, so a forecasting tool. Predictability. All right, you guys should feel comfortable with that one after the beginning. I was hoping. But it was a different story than you were saying. Fair question, whether it is. How about cumulative flow diagram? A. I try to give it away by using the word flow in the definition. Story points. D. It's used to measure the effort required. And again, those of you that are not using that, it's just an estimation technique, story points. Throughput, process of elimination. B, the average number of being processed per time unit. Is it easy or hard?
That's pretty good for
Good. All right. So thank you for that. The intent of that was one, to those of us who haven't, the intent of that was for those of us that don't participate in teams or use these or those metrics that are on the worksheet. Just kind of get your mind around that. We're going to go through some metrics right now and talk about what they mean to you as a if you're a team member and you see this data. Okay? So we're going to start with sprint burn down. And I'll explain it for those of us that don't use sprint burn down. This line, the x-axis is time. The y-axis is units of work. And this blue line is our ideal trend. Okay? You guys with me? So time, units of work, ideal trend. And then the green line is what actually occurs. Remember, sprint burn down is showing how much work we're burning down towards our end of sprint, which is here. So what happened, what does this data tell you guys? Being able to see any of the numbers don't necessarily matter, but you see a trend, right? What does that tell you? What's that?
Not much happened until towards the end of the sprint.
Yeah, I'm assuming work's being done, but it looks like nothing's getting done, right? And then there's a massive crash right at the end of the sprint. Probably generates lots of stress, right? You guys seen this one?
Yeah.
Call this the agricultural cliff dive. It's a common one.
It also might make you question the quality of the product that we delivered.
Question, but how so?
Just because potentially it would indicate to me that the team did not know when the sprint started what they were doing. Because it took them a while to figure it out.
Yeah, maybe it's
I mean,
unclear.
it doesn't definitely mean that, but it
Yeah.
could.
So that's one possible one. Another one I might say is maybe the work's too big.
Right.
And we're doing mini waterfall almost, right?
Right.
So I've got this big chunk of work and I go, here you go, test, good luck. It's awesome.
It depends on what your definition of done is as well. If all you're calling is your definition of done, move to production, then you can't move all your items to totally done until you move the production, which might be the last day of the sprint, and that's why you go down.
Then I would ask, what kind of stress is on this team? And are they, again, having the conversations, what does this data tell us?
Yeah.
Because we could paint probably 20 different scenarios as to what this is, right? So let's move to the next one. Here's another one, again, same axes. The green line is what actually happened. The blue is what is ideally occurring. You guys see here.
Somebody threw another job in there.
Somebody threw some more work in. Looks like we were getting stuff done. And then something happened, or a little spike.
Or maybe
Somebody
something
added
took
work.
longer.
From the original.
Or where is it?
Instead of the developers until QA got it.
Yeah, so it looks like somebody threw in some work. If I'm reading it, I'm saying, well, there's some distraction going on here probably. If there's new work, the team had to divert attention, look at this new thing. And then look what happened here. So it looks like maybe 2 units of work were added. Okay, so, well, maybe by the end, I'll only be 2 units off. If I'm being logical, right? But they're much further than 2 units off by the end. Again, because of the distraction. So we probably thrashed for a day, maybe half a day, or a little bit trying to figure out what to do with this new thing. And now when I should have finished 8 units, I only got maybe 4 guys.
Is your burn down here based on points or hours?
It doesn't matter in this case.
Well,
I mean, for the sake of discussion,
It could though, because if you're tracking hours remaining and the developer, that could tell the story of one of the team members, that they initially, when they tasked it, underestimated the amount of effort, right? And then halfway into the sprint, they said, I thought this was gonna take me 2 more hours to